Book 1, Canto 12. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This recording by Shoshi Cooper, Waltham, Massachusetts. The Faerie Queene by Edmund Spenser. Book 1, The Legend of Red Cross, Canto 12. Fair Una to the Red Cross Knight betrothed is with joy, though false Duessa it to bear her false sleights do employ. Behold, I see the haven nigh at hand, to which I mean my wary course to bend. Fare the main shate, and bear up with the land, the which afore is fairly to be kenned, and seemeth safe from storms that may offend. There this fair virgin, weary of her way, must landed be now at her journey's end. There eke my feeble bark a while may stay, till merry wind and weather call her thence away. Scarcely had Phoebus in the glooming east yet harnessed his fiery-footed team, nay reared above the earth his flaming crest, when the last deadly smoke aloft did seem. The sign of last outbreathed life did seem unto the watchman on the castle wall, who thereby dead that baleful beast did deem, and to his lord and lady loud gan call, to tell how he had seen the dragon's fatal fall. Uprose with hasty joy and feeble speed that aged sire, the lord of all that land, and looked forth to weet if true indeed those tidings were as he did understand, which when as true by trial he outfond. He bade to open wide his brazen gate, which long time had been shut, and out of hond proclaimed joy and peace through all his state, for dead now was their foe, which them forayed late. Then gan triumphant trumpets sound on high, that sent to heaven the echoed report of their new joy and happy victory, 'gainst him that had them long oppressed with tort, and fast imprisoned in sieged fort. Then all the people, as in solemn feast, to him assembled with one full consort, rejoicing at the fall of that great beast, from whose eternal bondage now they were released. Forth came that ancient lord and aged queen, arrayed in antique robes down to the ground, and sad habiliments right well beseen. A noble crew about them waited round, of sage and sober peers all gravely gowned, whom far before did march a goodly band of tall young men, all able arms to sound. But now they laurel branches bore in hand, glad sign of victory and peace in all their land. Unto that doughty conqueror they came, and him before themselves prostrating low, their lord and patron loud did him proclaim, and at his feet their laurel boughs did throw. Soon after them all dancing on a row, the comely virgins came with guirlands dight, as fresh as flowers in meadow green do grow, when morning dew upon their leaves doth light, and in their hands sweet timbrels all upheld on height. And them before the fry of children young their wanton sports and childish mirth doth play, and to the maiden sounding timbrels sung in well attuned notes a joyous lay, and made delightful music all the way, until they came where that fair virgin stood, as fair Diana in fresh summer's day beholds her nymphs enranged in shady wood. Some wrestle, some do run, some bathe in crystal flood. So she beheld those maidens' merriment with cheerful view, who when to her they came, themselves to ground with gracious humblest bent, and her adored by honourable name, lifting to heaven her everlasting fame. Then on her head they set a guirland green, and crowned her twixt earnest and twixt game, who in her self-resemblance well beseen did seem such as she was a goodly maiden queen. And after all, the rascal many ran, heaped together in rude rabblement, to see the face of that victorious man, whom all admired, as from heaven sent, and gazed upon with gaping wonderment. But when they came where that dead dragon lay, stretched on the ground in monstrous large extent, the sight with idle fear did them dismay, ne durst approach him nigh to touch or once assay. Some feared and fled, some feared and well it feigned, one that would wiser seem than all the rest, warned him not to touch, for yet perhaps remained some lingering life within his hollow breast, or in his womb might lurk some hidden nest of dragonets, his fruitful seed. Another said that in his eyes did rest yet sparkling fire, and bade thereof take heed. Another said he saw him move his eyes indeed. One mother, when as her foolhardy child did come too near, and with his talons play, half dead through fear, her little babe reviled, and to her gossips gan in counsel say, how can I tell but that his talents may yet scratch my son, or rend his tender hand? So diversely themselves in vain they fray, while some more bold to measure him nigh stand, to prove how many acres he did spread of land. Thus flocked all the folk him round about, the whiles that hoary king with all his train, being arrived where that champion stout after his foes' defeasance did remain, him goodly greets, and fair does entertain with princely gifts of ivory and gold, and 1,000 thanks him yields for all his pain. Then when his daughter dear he does behold, he dearly doth embrace and kisseth manifold. And after to his palace he them brings, with shawms and trumpets, and with clarions sweet, and all the way the joyous people sings, and with their garments strows the paved street, whence mounting up they find purveyance meet of all that royal prince's court became, and all the floor was underneath their feet bespread with costly scarlet of great name, on which they lowly sit and fitting purpose frame. What needs me tell their feast and goodly guise, in which was nothing riotous nor vain? What needs of dainty dishes to devise, of comely services or courtly train? My narrow leaves cannot in them contain the large discourse of royal princes' state, yet was their manner then but bare and plain, for the antique world excess and pride did hate, such proud luxurious pomp is swollen up but late. Then when with meats and drinks of every kind their fervent appetites they quenched had, that ancient lord gan fit occasion find of strange adventures and of perils sad, which in his travel him befallen had, for to demand of his renowned guest, who then with utterance grave and countenance sad, from point to point as is before expressed, discoursed his voyage long according his request. Great pleasure mixed with pitiful regard, the godly king and queen did passionate, whiles they his pitiful adventures heard, that oft they did lament his luckless state, and often blame the too importune fate, that heaped on him so many wrathful rakes. For never gentle knight, as he of late, so tossed was in fortune's cruel freaks, and all the while salt tears bedewed the hearers' cheeks. Then said that royal pair in sober wise, dear son, great been the evils which ye bore from first to last in your late enterprise, that I note whether praise or pity more, for never living man, I ween, so sore in sea of deadly dangers was distressed, but since now safe ye seized have the shore, and well arrived are, high God be blessed, let us devise of ease and everlasting rest. Ah, dearest lord, said then that doughty knight, of ease or rest I may not yet devise, for by the faith which I to arms have plight, I bounden am straight after this emprise, as that your daughter can ye well advise, back to return to that great Faerie Queen, and her serve 6 years in warlike wise, 'gainst that proud pagan king that works her teen, therefore I ought crave pardon till I there have been. Unhappy falls that hard necessity, quoth he, the troubler of my happy peace, and vowed foe of my felicity. Nay, I against the same can justly prease, but since that band ye cannot now release, nor done undo, for vows may not be vain, soon as the term of those 6 years shall cease, ye then shall hither back return again, the marriage to accomplish vowed betwixt you twain. Which for my part I covet to perform, in sort as through the world I did proclaim, that whoso killed that monster most deform, and him in hardy battle overcame, should have mine only daughter to his dame, and of my kingdom heir apparent be. Therefore, since now to thee pertains the same, by due desert of noble chivalry, Both daughter and eke kingdom, lo, I yield to thee. Then forth he called that his daughter fair,